We begin with breaking news at 4 o'clock. An ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis, Minnesota earlier today. In the last 15 minutes, we learned that woman killed is from Colorado.
A family member identifies her as Renee Good. First, cell phone video captured the shooting, and we want to warn you, this is disturbing to watch. The video shows agents approaching an SUV, demanding the driver get out. That driver then, as you can see, backs up to make some room to pull away before accelerating forward. That is when an agent shoots her in the car, killing the driver. The Department of Homeland Security said the driver attempted to run over law enforcement. The mayor called that narrative BS in longer form. Democratic Governor Tim Walz said this incident confirms the fears that expanded presence of federal agents in that city would lead to violence.
I hope. Maybe we're at the McCarthy moment. Do you have no decency? Do you have no decency? We have someone dead in their car for no reason whatsoever. And I don't want to be right about this, but I said if they do this, they're going to create a chaotic situation where someone innocent's going to get killed. And they did it. And now we hear more political rhetoric. Enough. Enough is enough.
So as we mentioned at the top of the show, the victim has been identified as 37-year-old Renee Good. Following her death, there have been protests, clashes in the streets between police and ICE and protesters.
And Kyle Clark is joining us now. And Kyle, you spoke to some family members who have told you a little bit more about Renee, and she is from Colorado.
So a member of her family spoke to our team here at 9 News and confirmed that Renee Good did indeed grow up here in Colorado, specifically in the Colorado Springs area. Her family has longstanding ties to the area. Some of them still live here in the area as well, and they have been learning this afternoon what happened to her this morning in Minneapolis. So again, 37 years old, believe that she was previously married with a deceased husband. So Renee Good, with ties to the Colorado Springs area, her mother, Donna Ganger, actually spoke with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune. We have reached out to her mother. We have not spoken with her mother ourselves, but she told the Star-Tribune of her daughter in this moment when she was shot by this ICE agent, quote, she was probably terrified. She told the Star-Tribune that she was not aware of her daughter being involved in anti-ICE protests. Probably just goes without saying that it is not a crime to engage in protests in America, but her mother said she was not aware that she was involved in any of that. A family member told us that she had also recently been living in the Kansas City area. That tracks with the fact that there were Missouri plates on the vehicle that was involved today. There was also a sticker on the back of the vehicle that appears to be from a women's soccer team in Kansas City. Donna Ganger said to the Star-Tribune today of her daughter, quote, Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known. She was extremely compassionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. If nothing else, we know that she was close to her family. She officiated her brother's wedding here in Colorado just a couple of years ago. A number of other folks in the family were involved in that wedding ceremony as well. But again, Renee Good, originally from the Colorado Springs area, was the woman who was killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis today. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem immediately said that she was involved in an act of domestic terror, which is a hell of a thing to say before the facts settle out on a situation. And also, just folks should just know from a factual perspective that ICE accounts of similar violent confrontations, say in the city of Chicago, have been fairly quickly disproven by eyewitness accounts and video. Clearly, there's lots of video of what happened today. And there's lots of folks weighing in from a law enforcement perspective on what is seen in those videos, but there's no shortage of evidence about what specifically happened in the streets.
A couple of other important details just to get out there that we have learned from either lawmakers in the area or the mayor too, that she is a U.S. citizen and she was not a target of an ICE investigation.
Yeah, and that all makes sense, right? That there's somebody who had lived in Colorado Springs area for a while. We believe was in Kansas City, and then we think had been in Minneapolis for a time as well. And we're still learning more about her family and about her connections both to that area and to this area. But in the family's only public remarks in terms of things that they wanted specifically said about her publicly were her mother's comments today about how kind and compassionate she was, somebody who took care of others.
And it's worth noting, we hear what Governor Walz said. I mean, they have been living with these immigration raids for some time now, and there's a lot of witnesses here that we're talking about, people warning each other, ICE is in the neighborhood, ICE is coming. In this case, now they've dealt with the George Floyd murder. I mean, now they're going to have people on all sides angry and upset about something like this.
Yeah, and what you hear Governor Walz say in Minnesota today is something that we've heard said here in Colorado, albeit on a less heightened level, which is don't do anything in the streets that will give the president reason to send in the military. And to this point, you know, Denver has avoided any type of confrontation like that. We know that leaders in Minneapolis are similarly focused on that because people are going to want to protest. Again, in the United States of America, people have the right to protest. They have a right to say things about the government that the government does not like. But the governor and the mayor there in Minneapolis and Minnesota are trying to make sure that it does not turn into a situation where the president sends armed troops into the streets.
Yeah, and this actually happened 4 blocks away from where George Floyd died. All right, Kyle, thank you.